The biggest challenge, I'll start there, has been the fact that we are up against these tyrannical globalist entities that have been co-opted by communists in their corporate boardrooms to stifle the liberties of competitors. The tyrants in our society are trying to stifle your ability to experience liberty, which makes competition very hard, and yet we persist. For a decade, we've watched company after company turn against us and our values. We've watched companies infringe upon our liberties. We've watched them try to create a social credit score here in the United States with businesses, and we're done with it.
Target and Bud Light, I know both companies have big presence in communist China. I mean, they import product made of slave labor, and now what's most concerning is not the CCP's infiltration in this country through cheap product, but ideology.
Yes.
And that's why over the campuses from East Coast to West Coast, we see the anti-Semitism and students who prefer socialism or communism over capitalism, and especially in the private sector. So how are you guys fighting back against the CCP-style woke culture?
We're trying to shift the monetary supply and shift the profit centers. So if we can move the profit centers back to the values of we the people, we will win. We are in an economic war, not just a political one. You can vote in the United States every 2 and 4 years, and so we claim we're a democracy. The corporate boardrooms from some of the largest companies that we're all familiar with by name have been co-opted by communists. They have placed these Marxists on the boards of these companies to hijack away the prioritization of the consumer and the shareholder. If you want to live in a free society, you have to protect the freedom of the transaction. If you look at communist cultures around the world for the last 150 years, since communism has really originated, they have all one thing in common. The communist authoritarians go after your ability to transact. They will try to silence you and cancel your bank account, stifle your economic liberty if you disagree with the regime in power. The only way to fight that is by exercising your financial freedom, removing the profit centers from the woke tyrants, and taking back your sovereignty as an individual consumer.
I want you to speak a few words to our audiences who are not able to be here physically and they're residing in China. They're fighting every day against the censorship and communist ideology. What would be your message to them?
I would say continue fighting, continue prioritizing the freedoms to the greatest degree that you can. Push back when you have the ability to against the authoritarianism. Recognize that you're inspiring the world. Your boldness and courage gives us boldness and courage to fight. We have it easier here in the United States, but there are warning signs about our country becoming more and more communist and authoritarian. The more that you speak up and exercise your ability to the degree that you can, you give me purpose every day, and doing the same here. So I would encourage you that the world is watching, and your fight gives us inspiration to keep fighting.